Yo, Big C in the house. You know the name. Fin Posse Podcast. Changing the game. Fins up high. Feel the aqua and orange. Miami heat blazing. We scorching the floor. Marino the tour. We stacking the saga. Legacy deep, call it football nirvana. Big C, break it down, got the stats in his veins. Play-by-play knowledge like he's calling the chains. Fins flying on the field, opponents feel the blast. Tyreek cheetah speed, leaving DBs in the past. Waddle with the wiggle, defense with the clamp. Aqua drip so clean, whole squad's the champ. Tune in, Big C, got the mic on lock. Fin Posse Podcast, it's the cream of the crop. Breaking news, hot takes, repping the block. For the Dolphin faithful, it's the one-stop shop. Fin Posse. We the voice of the fans. Miami stand tall, got the world in our hands. Best podcast, yo, ain't no debate. Big C, big vibes, setting it straight. Defense smash, call it Aqua Tsunami. X locking routes like a South Beach Armani. O-line holding strong, trenches like a fortress. Big C dissected, no stack goes dormant.
Try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. Looking for change, looking for pain. Pulling a mob, pushing a train. I'll never stop, stick to a lane. Pick up the pieces and go rearrange. I'll be the best above all the rest, put me to the test and expect nothing less. You check as I'm chess, what's happening next? Yeah. He got the venom, a tangible weapon, no coming in second. This life is a lesson. He got a new engine from pain, it's a blessing. New focus, no guessing, just bold an obsession. All in his possession, you got their attention. I leave an impression and take a redemption. Just kill, no discretion. Your mind is a weapon. 11-11, it's time for progression. You could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands.
What up, Fin fans? Welcome to another episode of the Fin Posse Podcast. I'm your host, Big C. This is brought to you by Game Changers Media. Sorry for running a little bit late today. I had a few things to do this morning. And then I was jotting down a few notes for today's show. Good morning. You see the topic of today's show, Miami Dolphins playoff bound. Oh, that is the question. What is the answer? I'm not sure if we have one at this moment, but I do know that this Miami Dolphins team looks like a completely different team. We got to give kudos to Coach Mike McDaniel. We're still not sure whether he'll be back next year or not. I'm leaning towards he probably will be, considering the things he's had to overcome this season. And I think he's done a pretty good job at that. I think that Stephen Ross realizes that Chris Greer was a major problem for this franchise, and he ends up being the fall guy, which, let's be real, this team was built by Chris Greer, and Chris Greer deserves to suffer the consequences of giving Mike McDaniel ill-equipped roster to try to win with. But how good is this Miami Dolphins team right now? How good are they right now? Let's say our morning hellos. Hello. Good morning. Who's all up in the chat? Make sure you hit the like button. Please don't forget. It helps with the algorithm. I'm trying to get that thing back up. Pretty soon here, we're going to have a different show. This show's going to change dramatically in the next month. Cosmetically, setup wise, it's going to change completely. I hope you guys still like it. we'll be doing some of the same things, obviously, but I got a new vision for the show that I want to follow, and I think it's going to turn out really nice. But Michael Lombardo, good morning. Miller, good morning. Marcos, good morning. What's up? What's up? Bonnie, good morning. Christian, good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Let me see what Miller's got to say. He typing this morning. He typing. Nah, it's not me on the mic, brother. Played the easiest gauntlet on our schedule. The fact that Mike had to get really credit for us to win the games we did. Buffalo will forever be a high moment. Scares me due to how poorly we actually played again at the bad teams. Eric, what's up? Big C McDaniels had a lot of input in setting up roster, extending to Tyreek. He did go the bat for Tua Tagovailoa, but I don't think he went the. Let's be fair. He went to bat for 2023 Tua. I think we've seen a considerable fall off in Tua's play, Tua's physical ability. I think there's a major difference. I don't know if you can blame Mike McDaniel for this version of Tua. And you can say maybe he should have seen it coming. Maybe he should have known that this was going to happen. But he went to bat for a quarterback that led the league in passing, that was completing over 70% of his passes, that showed that he has elite anticipation, elite ball placement, elite accuracy, and with a good offensive line and weapons around him, that he can go out there and score you a bunch of points. I don't think this isn't the Tua that he had in mind, and this isn't the same Tua Tagovailoa. Anybody out there telling you that this is the same Tua is delusional and blind. This is not the same Tua. This Tua is definitely 100% what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know. He's a small part of what he used to be. Regardless, he used to be a lot better. I used to be able to make an argument for Tua Tagovailoa staying the quarterback for the Miami Dolphins, that we could win football games and playoff games with Tua Tagovailoa, and he is not that anymore. I cannot make that argument for him. If anything, I have to argue against that. Tua Tagovailoa is not capable of winning us a Super Bowl unless we have such an elite defense, unless it's a Baltimore Ravens situation from early 2000 where they beat the New York Giants, where they had Ray Lewis, they had Trent Dilfer at quarterback. That's the only way they win a Super Bowl. They're not going to win a Super Bowl with the help of Tua Tagovailoa. They'd win a Super Bowl at this point in spite of Tua Tagovailoa. In spite of Tua. At this point, they're covering up shell of himself. Thank you, Christian. Thank you. That's exactly what I was trying to say. You're a beautiful human being for coming up with that. Beautiful. Thank you so much. I get on here and sometimes I get to speaking and, you just have brain farts, things that so easily that are just at the tip of your tongue that you go, your mind just plays tricks on you. But a shell of yourself, absolutely exactly what I was trying to say. Thank you, Christians. Thank you so much. But yeah, do you agree? Who agrees with that statement? That at this point, and let's eliminate the Tua haters and the Tua lovers. If you're a straight up Dolphins fan and all you want is the Miami Dolphins to win football games, and you can see the positives in Tua and you've seen the negatives in Tua, And that's me. That's me as a Dolphins fan. That's why I used to make the argument that the Miami Dolphins could win with Tua, because I seen good play from Tua. I seen good things from Tua, but I don't see those things anymore. I don't see those things anymore. I don't see them, and that's depressing and disappointing. And what's really depressing and disappointing is that we still owe Tua a boatload of money for next year. This isn't all right. Let's get through this year, and there's a solution ahead. No, there's no easy solution to Tua Tagovailoa, and I feel terrible because I like Tua. I like cheering for him. I enjoyed watching him at times, but at this point, when he goes back to throw, I'm worried about the results. I'm worried about the results. Raphael says, run, and freaking run. Dolphins must limit Tua's touches for keys to success. I agree with that. But at the same time, like I listened to Doug and he had said, Mike McDaniel got cute with his play calling in the second and third quarter against the Jets. Why? Because he threw a couple pass plays. You should be able to throw a couple pass plays. You can't run every down. I don't think he did anything overly foolish or overly stupid besides that last play of the half. I think that was a stupid play. It was a play that was not needed. It was a play that could have hurt this football team, and it wasn't going to help you that much. Risk versus reward. You know what I mean? The risk versus the reward on that play, that screenplay, the Jalen Wright at the end of the first half, it just wasn't worth it. That could have been devastating for this football team. It could have been devastating. Oh, Bonnie, I did not see it. I'm sorry, hon. I did not see it. I definitely not ignoring you. I swear. Lewis says 5-0, genius GM and champ Greer is gone. James Daniels, Tanner Connor, it's time to leave. Yeah, James Daniel, what a huge disappointing that was. That was me because I was on board drafting Tua in 2023 when I realized that Tua was regressing, especially this season, big drop off. Definitely a huge regression. Huge regression. Big C, I'm talking like Dolphins teams with Ricky Williams. We ran first and only passed when we needed. Run the setup pass. Well, yeah, I mean, obviously that's the way this team's going to have to win. If we're going to win more football games this year, that's how this team is going to have to win. 100%. And it's not only because of Tua's regression, it's the lack of playmakers in the passing game. It's the lack of playmakers. If you subtract Jalen Waddle and Darren Waller for the 10 snaps that he gives you a game, I mean, who are the playmakers on the offensive side of the ball besides the running backs? Taj Washington, he looked awesome in the off season with the ball in his hands. We put him on the field one play this year, he fumbles the ball. Malik Washington, they struggle to get the ball in his hands. He's done little to nothing. Nick Westbrook-Akine, nothing. At this point, bring some guys up from the practice squad. Do something. Bring someone. Do something. Well, that's when Tua's at his best, when he can get in rhythm. But at the same time, Tua's missing passes that he's always been able to make, that were his bread and butter, that made him stand out from a crowd. He's missing those passes at this point. The new tight end's playing well. Yes, Dulich, I think we should re-sign him immediately. He's not a number one guy, but he could be a fantastic number two option. I think we should re-sign him immediately. I think you should leave him there. you re-sign him, get him signed up for next year, because I think especially what he did with the ball in his hands last week, I didn't think he was capable of that. Listen, I think he's a very good blocker. I think he's got sure hands. I think he's shown us that so far. I don't remember a pass that he's dropped, but what he did with the ball in his hands last week, I was surprised. I was surprised he was that nimble, that quick, that athletic. And it really surprised me, and I really like it. I really, really like it. Now, look, let's take a look at this play. Are the Miami Dolphins playoff bound? Well, let's take a look at what we got left on the schedule. We got the Pittsburgh Steelers, Monday Night Football. We got the Cincinnati Bengals, 1 p.m. start. We got shafted out the Sunday Night Football game, which you can look at that two ways. Miami doesn't perform overly well in primetime games. So maybe this helps. Maybe this helps the Dolphins' chances of beating Cincinnati Bengals. Then we have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Then we have the New England Patriots. You would look at that schedule right now and you'd be like, dang, that's kind of a tough draw. That's kind of a tough draw, right? Obviously Pittsburgh's ahead of the AFC North. That division it's like, who wants to win this division? The AFC North has been like, who wants to win it? And nobody is like stepping up and saying me. I thought for sure that the Ravens were going to come back after all these injuries and reclaim their rightful spot up top, but they've been a complete disappointment. The Steelers been up and down, up and down. Obviously, they got the aging Aaron Rodgers. I would love nothing more for the Miami Dolphins to shit all over Jalen Ramsey this week. I think he absolutely deserves that, and I hope that happens. So let me say this first. I don't think there's a team that we play in our remaining schedule that we cannot beat. I'll say that. Now, some of you may disagree with that statement, but if the Miami Dolphins play the way they have 5 of the last 6 games, we've won 5 of the last 6 games. If the Miami Dolphins play that style of football, the Miami Dolphins can beat most teams in the NFL. And we've seen this year more than any other year that anything is possible in these games. We've seen this more this year than any other year. There have been more upset victories, unexpected victories this year than any other year that I can ever remember. Any other year I can remember. So anything's possible. Anything can happen. Let me give you a few stats. 5 of the last 6 games, we have been victorious. 5 of the last 6 games, we've been victorious. In those 5 games, the Miami Dolphins defense has given up 12.6 points per game. 12.6 points per game. Come on. Come on. That'd be number 1 in all of football by a large margin. By a large margin. Number 2 in the NFL is 16 points per game by the Houston Texans. That's a clear 4 points under that in the last 5 games. Let's be honest, those teams are bad at scoring. Well, I mean, the Bills aren't bad at scoring. I mean, the Bills aren't. The Bills score points. Bills are number 1 scoring team in all of football. I'm pretty sure. Or at least top 5. Now I'll give you that most of those teams aren't the best. But still, the Miami Dolphins are doing what they're supposed to do. They're dominating lesser teams. They're dominating lesser teams. In that time, the Miami Dolphins have only given up 90 yards rushing a game. That'd be fourth best in the NFL behind the Jacksonville Jaguars, who lead the league at 82.9 yards per game. Now that's James Cook at running back. That's Robinson at running back for the Falcons. Breece Hall for the Jets. So some pretty good running backs, only giving up 90 yards a game on the ground. That's been the major switch up for this team. That the offensive line and defensive line were straight garbage at the beginning of the season, and now they're the top two units on the team. This defensive line's playing out of their minds. The offensive line's playing out of their minds. That is the difference between the beginning of the season and where we're at right now. Also, another key reason for this winning streak is what Devon Achan's been able to do on the ground. Devon Achan in that 5 games winning, 5 out of 6 games, he's averaging 117 yards a game. 117 yards a game. Jonathan Taylor, the league's leading rusher, averages 104 yards a game. What up, Cat in the Hat? Each had 117 yards a game during that span. He has four rushing touchdowns, add on another couple receiving touchdowns. And that number would have been even higher if he didn't get shaken up early in that Jets game. He was probably going for 200 in that Jets game. Are you really worried about Aaron Rodgers, though? I'm not. I think we can slow down the run. I think Rasul Douglas has played good enough to, keep up with DK Metcalf. Bonnie says, I also believe the Dolphins are playing just as physical as any other team right now, and that makes a huge difference. Well, Jordan Brooks is playing out of his mind. I've said it numerous times on this channel that I think he's the best linebacker we've had since Zach Thomas. I think he's the best middle linebacker we've had here since Zach Thomas. And I know you can say Kiko Alonso, you can say Carlos Dansby, Channing Crowder. To me, Jordan Brooks tops all those guys. When Carlos Dansby got here, I don't think he was a shell of himself. His best years were behind him. He had his best years in Arizona. By the time we got him, he wasn't the same player. So I think Jordan Brooks, fantastic. I think the Miami Dolphins made a mistake not renegotiating his contract, putting on some more years for him. That was a mistake. Now it's going to cost us considerably more money because last year he had a good year, but he didn't have the year like he's having this year. And we should have took advantage and we should have got that contract done. But I don't think there's any reason that we can't beat these Steelers. These Steelers have given up massive amounts of rushing yards to the Buffalo Bills, to numerous teams. This defense hasn't been good against the run. Now we got to hope that Devon Achan's healthy. Again, Jalen Wright had a good game last week. But there was still a noticeable difference when Jalen Wright came into the game versus Devon Achan. You can't deny it. I know that Jalen Wright went over 100 yards, but he got a lot of those. He got a lot of those yards at the end of the game. He was ripping off some big runs. When Devon Achan went out that game, our offense stalled out. Our offense stalled out. And it didn't pick back up until later on in the game. So it's key that Devon Achan's healthy. It's key that Devon Achan's healthy. But if we can run the ball and stop the run and force Aaron Rodgers to have to beat us, I think we've been able to get pressure on the quarterback. People say Zeke Biggers, Jordan Phillips, who was my favorite draft pick in this draft. Even Kenneth Grant. Kenneth Grant, he hasn't been playing bad. I don't know if he's been playing necessarily as good as Jordan Phillips and Zeke Biggers in limited opportunities, but he hasn't been playing bad. He's improved his play since the beginning of the season. But it's a positive outlook for this football team that all three of them have greatly improved since the beginning of the season. And I think they'll continue to take steps forward. Jalen Ray was getting passes thrown at his back. What's that have to do with, he's not Devon Achan. I'm not trying to shoot shade at him, but he's not Devon Achan. Getting pumped up, I guess, big C for this game already. Well, this is a big game for the Miami Dolphins. Now, there's still a world where we win out and we still don't make the playoffs. And that would be a tough pill to swallow. That'd be a tough pill to swallow. Let's see if I can't pull up what the playoff standings are right now. Let me see. Okay. Let me pull this up. Pull it up. Pull it up. Make sure you hit that like button. Like it real quick for me if you would. I'd greatly appreciate it. Again, lots of times I see that I interact with 12, 14, 16 people on here, and then I get off and I have 6 likes. Let's see. So we're going to do this playoff predictor real quick. Let's hit this playoff predictor. All right. This is week 15's games. Right now, we are on the outside. The last seed is the Houston Texans right now. So we'll pick all these games, even though all of them don't matter. We got Tampa Bay over Atlanta, Chicago over Cleveland, Baltimore over Cincinnati, Houston over Arizona. That hurts us. Jacksonville over the Jets, Chiefs and the Chargers. You got to go with the Chargers. The Chiefs just, I don't know. They haven't pulled out the late game wins like they have in the past. Buffalo, New England. Oh, man. Does Buffalo lose to them both games? I mean, let's take New England for shits and giggles, I guess. I mean, they're the favorite, right? The Giants, Washington, and the Giants. I'm going to take the Giants here. Scroll down. Eagles, Raiders. Take the Eagles. Green Bay, Denver. I'm going to take Green Bay. Take the Rams. Take Carolina. Taking Seattle over Indy. Again, Indy signed Phillip Rivers. He hasn't played in the league since 2021. What's your thoughts on that? That was mind-blowing to me. Got San Francisco over Tennessee. Dallas over Minnesota. And we're going to take the Miami Dolphins over the Steelers. Let's see what people got. Playoffs are out of reach for Dolphins. Slackers on that light button. Why people ain't hitting the light button for me? Come on, let's go. I'm going to take the Rams over Seattle, Green Bay over Chicago, Philly over Washington, Tampa Bay over Carolina, Buffalo over Cleveland, Dolphins over Cincy. Let's see. I'm going to go Dallas over the Chargers. New Orleans over the Jets. Minnesota over the Giants. Kansas City over Tennessee. Atlanta. Denver. Damn. Go Detroit over Pittsburgh. Houston over the Raiders. Go New England over Baltimore. San Francisco over Indy. Week 17. Still not looking good for us. Dallas, Detroit, Denver, Seattle, Cincinnati, Green Bay, Chargers. Giants, Steelers. It's not looking good for the Dolphins, even if we win all the games. New Orleans, Philly over Buffalo, San Francisco over Chicago, Rams over Atlanta. Down to week 17. Week 17, we got Atlanta. Buffalo's going to win. Detroit over Chicago. Cincinnati. Houston. Yeah, I just don't see it. I think that, with Indy going down, you got Houston playing so well. Jacksonville's playing really well. I mean, you were counting on Indy to win some of those games against them, but I just don't see them doing it now. Miami, New England, Dallas, Philly, maybe Baltimore, Seattle wins, Carolina. Yeah, the Dolphins 9-7 missed playoffs. The Bills, I got them finishing 11-6. I mean, if you look at it right now, the Buffalo Bills are 9-4. That's with them losing half their games remaining. The Texans 8-5. Jacksonville's 9-4. Those teams are, I mean, I just don't see it. I just don't see a world where we win, where we can where we get in. I mean, I just did the simulator. Now, is that gonna? I just put in playoff predictor, NFL playoff predictor, Marcos. But do you feel like the Chargers are going to lose the rest of their games? I don't see a world where they do that. We're talking craziness now. You're talking about unrealistic options. That's not going to happen. They're not going to lose the rest of their games. Like, I want the Dolphins to make the playoffs like everybody else, but you got to be realistic in what you're saying. You got to be realistic. I'm not going to sit here and lie to myself and give myself false hope. Glenn, they're still not going to lose all their games. I know the Eagles have been struggling, but they just beat a Philadelphia Eagles team that won the Super Bowl last year. This still has a very good, you know what I mean? We're counting on the Chiefs to beat them. The Chiefs ain't winning games this year like they have been. They've already got one loss to them this year. Christian says my hopium is extremely low. Listen, I want it to happen, but be realistic. I gave Buffalo 2 losses I didn't think that they were going to necessarily lose. I had them losing the New England. I had them losing the Philly. That's not a guarantee they lose either of those games. Bonnie says, I don't have any hope that they will make the playoffs, but it would still be nice push-ups on demand. I've read 2 different statements. It'd still be nice for them to make the playoffs, but it will still be nice to see them finish strong. Chiefs will beat them this week. Bet 100 push-ups on demand. I got you. Raphael says, best case scenario, Dolphins make the playoffs, but what kind of damage can we do? Another first round exit. See, that's where I disagree, Raphael. I think if we make the playoffs, we're dangerous. I think we're dangerous if we make the playoffs. We're playing great defense and running the ball phenomenally. This is the most dangerous we've ever been going into the playoffs. That's how you win in the playoffs, playing good defense and running the ball. If we get in, I feel like we get a win. I feel like we get a win in the first round. Ken had just said exactly what I was saying. This is the year. This is the year that if we can somehow get in there, we can get a win. We can get a win. Oh, I don't know. Someone did bet me money for 6 wins, didn't they? Yeah, Greg Dulcich, I love him. I think we should re-sign him. I disagree, Miller. I think, listen, Tua started off last week 8 for 8. He looked like the old Tua at the beginning of the football game. If Tua can make a few plays, you focus on getting the ball to Darren Waller. You focus on getting the ball in the hands of Jalen Waddle, and you can just run the ball. You start using HN in the passing game a little bit more. I think we can win. I think we can absolutely win a playoff game. Yeah, that's Miller. What, the 8 for 8? Yeah, it was the Jets. But he didn't do nothing out of character. He just played normal Tua football. He looked like regular Tua. If he can somehow, I think a lot of Tua's struggles are. I think some of it is his body. Obviously, I think some of it is his body. I think his body is letting him down. He's not capable of doing the things physically that he's used to doing. But I think a lot of it is mental with Tua. I think a lot of it is mental with Tua. I think Tua has lost confidence, and we all know that Tua is soft-minded. If Tua is one thing, he's soft-minded. He loses confidence in himself, and it affects his play. If I'm Mike McDaniel, I'm I'm pulling Tua to the side, and I'm having a deep conversation with him, like explaining to him and telling him, listen, you're a 50+ million a year quarterback in the NFL. You're the you're the you're the sniper for this football team. You know what I mean? The Samoan sniper, and I need him. And you show him all the plays he's made over the course of his career with the Miami Dolphins. Show him them again and build that confidence up, and hopefully Tua can make some plays down the stretch. We won't get the 9 wins, so no tattoo, guys. We'll be lucky to go 2-2 this last force. You better hope so. Glenn, I agree. I've said, and I don't want to be that person because I know there's a famous Dolphin. Well, I wouldn't say famous, but he's a more popular Dolphin YouTuber than me who likes to scream, "You heard it here first. You heard it here first." And then someone else, after I said that Tua's been hampered by the hip injury, he kind of jumped on the boat and tried to make it his. And of course, since he's got more subscribers, it's going to look like he's the one that said it. But I've said all along that Tua's hip is still, there's still something wrong with Tua's hip. He should tell Tua he's the Roman Reigns of the Dolphins. Yeah. What up, Oos? What up, Oos? Come on, Oos. Tua's our tribal chief. Throw your ones up. Tua's hips don't lie. Someone should make one of those memes with Tua's head connected to Shakira's body. But yeah, listen, it's still a long shot, so don't get your hopes up too much. But know this and be happy about this, that the Miami Dolphins are capable of winning the last four. Do they do it? Who knows? It depends on if Achan's still healthy, if the Dolphins can continue to play good defense. Like I said, only giving up 12.6 points per game over the course of their winning streak. That's phenomenal. That'd be number one in all the NFL. I understand that the competition hasn't been the greatest, but still, you can only play the teams that are on your schedule. Big C, I watch your show while I'm on the toilet. Just wanted you to know that. That's the only time you watch it. Thanks, I appreciate it. If we get blown out Monday, do we see yours? What we have in yours? I mean, anything's possible. If Tua goes out there and throws you 4 interceptions and is the reason that we lose, I think there's a good possibility of that. I think there's a good possibility of that. Listen, I think the offensive line's been good. I think the offensive line's been good. They've impressed me this year. I think I'm not complaining about this offensive line no more. They've done a good job. They've done a very good job, and that's even with Jonah being the worst rated offensive lineman in all of football. Make trade for Kittle. I don't think we need Kittle. I don't think we need Kittle. I think that'd be a wasted contract. Kittle misses a lot of games. But the Miami Dolphins, yeah, listen, continue to run the ball, continue to do the things that help you. You know what I mean? That help you. They do the things that got you here. We need the Chiefs to make the playoffs so the Bills don't make the Super Bowl. I don't think the Bills are making the playoffs regardless. Or they're not making the Super Bowl. They're too inconsistent. Dulich, I love Dulich, like we said on the show multiple times today. Dulich has been phenomenal for us. Kittle is injured more than Tua. Jonah did play good. The last few weeks he has played better. So that's encouraging. Again, not everybody's going to step into the league and be a phenomenal player. Some people take time. Some people take time. Miller, I would take either one of those guys. I like them both. What position do you think is vital to address in the draft? We need another playmaker at wide receiver. Cornerback. Corner, maybe another safety. Another pass rusher. Somewhere along those lines. Obviously a quarterback, but I think we miss out on the top tier quarterbacks because we decided to go on this win streak. So I'd probably wait on quarterback till next year. We definitely don't need a defensive tackle. We got defensive tackles galore. Kenneth Grant, Jordan Phillips, Zeke Biggers, all those are going to be good defensive tackles for us. I love all three guys. I don't know if Strange. Well, Myers played good before the injury. Hopefully, he comes back and he looks good. Myers did good filling in for Brewer when Brewer was out in training camp. I love your show, Big C. The Dolphins are not making the play. Listen, I never said they were. I never said they were making the playoffs. Eric, we need someone that can come in and compete with Tua. If you're telling me we gotta have the same Tua as this year, no. If we can get back to having the 2022 Tua, which I don't think is possible, like I said, I think his body is regressed. I think his body is hurting him. I think he has aged 5 to 10 years in one season. I think the hits have caught up to him. I don't think Tua goes back to being the same player he ever was. And a lot of people thought he wasn't good enough then. He's definitely not good enough now. He's definitely not good enough now. So if you want any chance of winning next year, you gotta find a replacement. You gotta find a replacement. Tua is not good enough. At this point, Tua is not good enough. Glenn, it's not guaranteed Tua's quarterback next year. I want to say that. Yeah, they owe him a lot of money, but it's not guaranteed. I don't care. I don't care about having a big wide receiver. I want a number one receiver. I want a Jamar Chase. I want a Jordan Jefferson. I want a CD Lamb. I want one of those receivers. I don't care if he's 6 foot, 6'2". I, I don't need a 6'5" receiver. I need a receiver that can dominate a game. Go out there and dominate a football game. Yeah, Jalen Conyers is a player that intrigues me. Um, there's a few players on this Dolphins team that intrigue me. There's a few. Unless Tua gives back some contract to help build team, farewell tour. Bryce Lance in late round, Trey Lance's little brother. But yeah, again, hit that like button for me. Make sure you're subscribed if you're not subscribed. Do I think the Miami Dolphins make the playoffs? No, I think they dug themselves too much of a hole. I'm going to continue to cheer for them. I'm going to continue to hope things go the way they need to go. But I just feel like they got themselves in too deep of a hole. There's too many teams stacked up there that Miami does not own the tiebreaker with. I think the injury to Daniel Jones and the way that the Colts have fallen off hurts because they were so far ahead of everybody else in that division. And now the Texans are going to beat the Colts. The Jaguars are going to beat the Colts. You know what I mean? And those were expected losses for those teams. And I don't think Philip Rivers is the answer. 44-year-old quarter or grandpa quarterback Philip Rivers is the answer for the Colts. I just don't see it. I don't think that's true, Glenn. I don't think that's true. I think he's capable of getting a number one receiver. If we move off Tyreek, I'm almost certain we get a wide receiver in round one or two. Well, I mean, if Tyreek, if we can't figure out a way for Tyreek to come back, that becomes one of your major team needs. That gets right to the top of the list because as of right now, you have no one that can do anything besides Jalen Waddle. Nobody else seems to be able to get open. But yeah, I listen. We can only play the games that are in front of us. We can hope, we can pray. You know, this year's been crazy. This year's been crazy. Uh, who knows what's going to happen? Joe R, do you think Tyreek wants to continue being a Dolphin? At this point, I think Tyreek could be lucky to play anywhere. Tyreek is no longer in a position where he can be a beggar. You know what I mean? Like, we owe Tyreek a lot of money right now. We can get out of that contract. He'd be lucky if we try to negotiate some kind of deal with him to bring him back to the Miami Dolphins. Big C, why didn't they call for Ryan Tannehill? The Colts missed him. Am I right? Uh, who knows? Who knows? Maybe they did call Ryan Tannehill. We don't know if they called him or not. We don't know if he called him not or not. He's under contract though. That's what I mean, Glenn. Obviously, I'm not talking about guarantees. I'm talking about he's under contract. Right now, we owe Tyreek a lot of money. Unless we release him. We'll see, Miller. We'll see. I know if I had a surgically repaired knee, I wouldn't want to go to Kansas City in that cold ass weather. Rivers knows the system. I don't care. Rivers can know the system. He's still 45 years old. Rivers wasn't very good the last time he was playing. Add 4 years onto that. You know what I mean? Add 4 years onto that. I don't think that's going to help them. I don't think that Phillip Rivers is going to come in and be the savior for them. Flacco's been playing that whole time at least. At least Flacco's been playing that whole time. And I don't think Flacco's that old. He hasn't played since 2021. But that's a long time off. That's a long time off. I wish the best for him. Don't get me wrong. Like, I hope he comes in and succeeds. I don't have no ill will towards Phillip Rivers. I don't have no ill will towards the Colts. I just don't think that, you know what I mean? You should have called Andrew Luck. But Andrew Luck Andrew Luck's not in shape. Andrew Luck don't look like a football player anymore. Oh yeah, if he comes in and he starts winning, let's say he won a Super Bowl. You know what I mean? The Super Bowl eluded him his whole career, and he comes back at 44 years old and wins a Super Bowl. That'd be an amazing story. Can I ask, is Anthony Richardson out for season? I don't think he is. Luck's a GM. He's got a donut belly now. Yeah, that's what I was saying. I remember seeing him, and he definitely looked like something crazy. All right, folks. I'll be back tomorrow. I love you all. I appreciate you all. I'll throw out the link there tomorrow. You guys come on and you can tell me how you guys think the Miami Dolphins will make or miss the playoffs and what your vision is for the Miami Dolphins going forward. You tell me tomorrow, are the Dolphins in? Are the Dolphins out? And what the Miami Dolphins need to do as far as their offseason moves to get this ship going in the right direction. But until then, I love y'all. Please subscribe if you're not subscribed. Comment, share, do all those fancy things. Again, this channel is going to be going through some major changes in the next few weeks. Until then, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. And we'll see y'all later. And you know what it is. Fins up, baby. Peace.
Yo, Big C in the house. You know the name. Fin Posse Podcast. Changing the game. Fins up high. Feel the aqua and orange. Miami heat blazing. We scorching the floor. Marino the tour. We stacking the saga. Legacy deep, call it football nirvana. Big C, break it down, got the stats in his veins. Play-by-play knowledge like he's calling the chains. Fins flying on the field, opponents feel the blast. Tyreek cheetah speed, leaving DBs in the past. pass. Waddle with the wiggle, defense with the clamp. Aqua drip so clean, whole squash the champ. Tune in, Big C, got the mic on lock. Fin Posse Podcast, it's the cream of the crop. Breaking news, hot takes, repping the block. For the Dolphin faithful, it's the one-stop shop. Fin Posse, we the voice of the fans. Miami stand tall, got the world in our hands. Best podcast, yo, ain't no debate. Big C, big vibes, setting it straight. Defense smash, call it Aqua Tsunami. X locking routes like a South Beach Armani. O-line holding strong, trenches like a fortress. Big C dissected, no stack goes dormant.